This is the Sensei Podcast, where we help you make sense of investments and financial markets, where we help you make sensible financial choices. I am your host, Ndwati Karanja. Over the last few days, you've probably heard that Kenya is experiencing an economic boom. And if you're like some people on social media, you probably are not experiencing the effects of this economic improvement that is being talked about in the newspapers and on television. However, if you have an investor mindset, it is possible for you to understand why you might not be feeling the effects of these improved economic conditions. And the reason for this is that good investors usually understand how the economy affects their earnings. They know how to position themselves. If you do not know how to position yourself correctly in an economy, you will not experience the effects of improved conditions. And that is the purpose of this episode. I'm going to teach you how to position yourself in an economy so that when it's doing well, you are also doing well. The way you position yourself is determined by whether you are only salaried, second, what type of product you sell, and third, what industry you are in. Let us start with the first. First, when you are on only a salary, you are likely not to feel the effects of improved economic conditions. And the reason for that is because when you have a fixed salary, you are not participating in the better situation. Let me give you an example. There are certain types of shares that are called preferred shares. And preferred shares usually have a fixed dividend. For example, they might only pay a dividend of 5 shillings per share. Therefore, it doesn't matter how well the company is doing. Each year, you are likely to only receive 5 shillings per share that you own in that company. On the other hand, when you have ordinary shares, they pay a dividend that is dependent on how well the company is doing. So in years that the company is doing very well, let's say you might get 10 shillings per share. However, when the company is not doing well, you might not get any dividend. When you have a salary, it is fixed the same way as a preferred share. And therefore, if the economy is doing well, you're likely not to be getting much more. You're not participating in the improved profits of that company. And that is why you are likely not to be feeling the effects of the improved economy if you are on just a fixed salary. And the way to overcome this situation is to diversify your earnings through investments. Think about the CEO of major companies in Kenya or all over the world. One way that they are paid is through the shares of the company that they work for. And what this does is that during times when the company is doing well, they are able to earn dividends from those shares, or they can sell those shares at a high price because of the increased price when a company is doing well. You need to take the same strategy. Either invest in shares of companies that are going to improve during economic booms, and that way you're going to be receiving higher dividends or improved share prices. Or alternatively, you can start a business, and so when you own a business, you're likely to be participating in an improved economy. Therefore, that is the first thing that you need to understand about positioning yourself. When you earn a fixed salary, the chances of you experiencing the boom are quite low. However, you can deal with this situation by diversifying, owning a company, either own shares or start a business. However, you will also realize that there are some businesses that are also not all experiencing the effects of the improved conditions. And there are two reasons for this. The second thing that you need to keep in mind when you're positioning yourself in an economy, and the reason why some businesses are not experiencing these improved conditions, is because of the type of products that they have focused on. The truth is that there are some products that actually suffer when the economy is improving. And these products are called inferior goods. It doesn't mean that they have low quality, it just means that customers typically buy these products when they have a low income. However, when the income is improving, like it can improve during an economic boom, these people are likely to buy less of that product and buy different types of products. For example, let me use the example of fried chicken. When people do not have a high income, they are likely to buy just the basic fried chicken that is just dipped in oil, fried, put some salt onto it, and eat that chicken. That is satisfying for them. However, as their income improves, they're likely to go for more sophisticated types of fried chicken that has been marinated or has different spices, has been coated in flour and eggs before it has been deep fried. Therefore, that basic fried chicken can be thought of as the inferior good, and the other fancy fried chicken can be thought of as a normal good. So that when the economy improves, the basic type of chicken may not experience improved sales. However, this other type of fancy chicken is likely to experience improved sales. This is just an example. I'm not sure how the fried chicken business is affected, but I think you get the picture. If your business is focused on inferior goods, then you're likely not to experience the economic boom. However, if you have a different type of good, it's likely for you to be experiencing that improved economic conditions. Therefore, when you're starting a business, or if you have a business, ask yourself this: why are your customers buying that product? If they particularly buy it because of the low costs, or because they do not have an income to buy something else, then you are unlikely to experience an economic boom. And therefore, what you need to do is diversify your product mix. You can have a few of those products that people buy when they do not have a high income. However, also have products that they would buy when they have a high income, and that way you are likely to participate in improved economic conditions. So that is the first reason that some businesses do not experience the effects of improved economic conditions. Now we move on to the second reason. The second reason that not all companies might be experiencing the effects of the economic boom, and the third way that you can position yourself in an economy, is by understanding how different industries react to an economic recovery. Think of an economic recovery or an economic boom having three parts. There is the early part, there is the mid part, and then there is the end part. There are some companies that experience increased business in the early part. And the types of companies that experience increased business in the early part are, for example, banks, which depend on increased borrowing. So these companies are likely to be the ones that right now are reaping the benefits of the economic boom. However, when it gets to the mid part, there are other companies that are going to start experiencing those benefits. And these are companies that need the economy to become established before the demand for their products increase. And at this point, you might have things like construction and transportation businesses. At the end of the boom, you have other companies that usually benefit from increased inflation, and these are such as utility companies that sell water or electricity. So therefore, depending on which industry your company is in, you are going to experience the economic recovery in different ways. And the way to position yourself in future is to diversify into different industries. Let me give you an example. There is a person who owns businesses in transportation and also in construction. And the problem with that situation is that those businesses react in pretty much the same way to an economy. And so when you find yourself in industries that are so related, that react in the same way to an economy, you find that you are not always experiencing the boom in the same way as other people. And therefore, you can start by diversifying your businesses so that you are in different industries that react to the economy in different ways. You do not need to start businesses in different industries. You can simply buy shares in different industries, and that way you're going to be participating at different points in the economic recovery. Let me conclude. Whether you feel the effects of an economic boom depends on how you are positioned. With just a salary, you will likely not enjoy most of the boom because your earnings are fixed, and therefore it is advisable that you start owning a business through buying shares or starting a business. On the other hand, when you sell goods, make sure that you're not just dependent on inferior goods where the demand goes down when the economy is doing well. Diversify into different types of goods. Also, diversify into different industries because they respond differently to economic booms. If you're not experiencing this current boom, do not worry. There will be many more in the future. You can take this opportunity to start positioning yourself using these ideas that I've just shared with you. This has been the Sensei Podcast. We release new episodes on Wednesdays and Fridays. Please subscribe and leave a comment on your favorite podcast provider. I am Ndwati Karanja. Until next time.